Hello. I would like to welcome you to a class that I believe will make a huge difference in your enjoyment in life and your family's life as well. I would like to talk to you about how to stay young your first 100 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, the topic sounds pretty catchy, but what do I really need to know about staying young for 100 years? Sounds a little far-fetched and a little ambitious. Well, it actually isn't. You and your family need to start thinking about what it means to you to live a long, healthy life. Let's look at the facts. In 1900, the average lifespan was 49 years of age. Now, there's no question that this is because people died when they were young. Well, they didn't have the cures and they didn't have the health care that we have today. The chances of them living a long life was far less. Well, today, the average lifespan is 77.6 years and growing. Scientists from the University of Texas reported in 2006 on the Today Show that by the year 2050, there will be over 800,000 Americans that will live over the age of 100 and maybe 150. So what does that mean? That means that you and your family need to start thinking about what it means to live a long life. Your children would have to start thinking about what it means to live to 100 instead of how to figure out how they're going to spend your inheritance, because you may live well into their retirement before they even get a chance to spend their inheritance, assuming that there is one. So yes, this is a topic that you and your family need to start thinking about. You don't want to just exist on this planet. You want to be able to live, work, and play on this planet. You want to have a quality life. Now, we have a huge group of baby boomers that are moving into the over 50 phase of life. And what this long life is revealing is that we have major areas of concern, major areas of health concern after the age of 50 if we don't do anything before the age of 50 to prevent this. Now, there's no question that we've never seen such large numbers move into this group of seeing such a ripe old age. Unfortunately, we're being faced with the devastation of mental illness such as Alzheimer's. Now, this is not new. Dementia just didn't show up, but dementia normally shows in people that reach 70 years and older. Now, I think that we can all agree that since we are facing or realizing that we're going to be able to live to these older ages, that we want to be able to use our mind and be able to use our mind into the stages. Also, we've seen an increase in skincare. There have been a huge growth in cosmetic procedures because people want to simply defy the wrinkle effect that comes with aging. Wrinkles. But the most important devastation that we're being faced with is musculoskeletal function. Your ability to move. The ability to get around the way that we used to. Now, we are the first generation to witness the ramification of these older ages. And what is starting to reveal to us is that that we're in danger of not taking care of our musculoskeletal or protecting our musculoskeletal functions. But the most common cause of functional disability in people over the age of 50 is spinal disorders. Wow. Spinal disorders. That's huge. That is really important to know. How many of you plan on living past the age of 50? Okay, a nice show of hands. And how many of you think that your family may plan on living past the age of 50? Okay. Well, let me use this as an example. Let's just say that someone was planning on breaking into your home and stealing all of your possessions. But I knew who was planning on breaking into your home and stealing all your possessions, and when they were going to break into your home and try to steal all your possessions. Would you do something about it, or would you just let it happen? Of course not. Of course not. You will prevent it. Well, I'm able to tell you what is going to rob you of your functional capacity and when. And when it's going to rob you of your functional capacity. Are you going to do something about it? Or are you just simply going to let it happen? Of course not. I think that we can all agree. That our health is more important than our possessions. So we need to take preventative steps in order to protect our health instead of just our possessions that we have in our homes. Think about this. If we lost our mobility at the age of 65 and we lived to 105, that is 40 years of immobility and pain. Think about it. But what I can tell you that what we have made improvements on preventative care is the way that we take care of our teeth. Tooth decay. Simple as that. Now, I know before we started taking preventative steps, that we had a lot more loss of teeth, we had a lot more cavities. But with the improvements and adjustments that we have made in preventative care with our teeth, we've been able to live with less pain, and we've been able to show off our pearly whites. Another area that we've seen improvements in is wrinkles. Yes, wrinkles. Since we've had a 465% increase in people who wanted to get rid of, since 1997, that wanted to get rid of the wrinkle effect that just merely comes with aging. They don't want to face the ramifications of aging. That is a huge number. Think about it. That is 12 million people within the past year that have had cosmetic surgery just to get rid of wrinkles. Wow, that is huge. But I think that we can all agree that preventing our mobility preventing from losing our mobility is way more important than protecting our pearly whites or even our skin. Now, there's nothing wrong. I am all for people having pearly whites and less wrinkles. But I think that we can all agree that a lack of mobility can make you look a lot older than crow's feet. Don't you think? But the reason why we take better care of our teeth and our wrinkles better than we take care of our bones and joints, is the simple fact that if our spine were on our face, we would take way better care of it. It's that simple. Think about it. We don't wait for our teeth to fall out, so why would we wait for our back to go out? We need our mobility in order to get around the way that we're supposed to. We should not take a gamble on letting our back go out and become worse. For the simple fact that pain is simply the last to show. But let me show you why preventative steps of your mobility is more important than taking care of your skin and your teeth. Simply because there is no such thing as a spinal transplant. No such thing. You can get new teeth, and there are even some organs that you can replace, but you cannot put a cap on your spine. You can't get a new one. Once it goes out, you're just simply living with pain. You're stuck with pain, and that's it. But we also have to be mindful that this isn't just limited to back pain. We have neck pain as well. Did you know that 1 out of 3 that 1 out of 3 adults over the age of 50 experience neck pain. Now, let's see how many of you want to be able to use your neck past the age of 50. Okay, that's a huge number. That is a very huge number and very important. Well, let's think about this. If we have 1 out of 3 people that's experiencing neck pain and 85 out of 100 people that's experiencing back pain, wow. But if that's not enough to convince you to start taking preventative steps in protecting your spine, let's look at some other things. Let's check out the mobility scale. Now with the scale, you can see the blue line. Now, with the blue line, it's showing that we peak at our max functional mobility at the age of 23. Then it drops like a rock. Look at this. At the age of 50, we lose half of our mobility that we had at the age of 23. And even at the age of 60, we only have 25% of the functional mobility that we had at the age of 23. So, good question. You ask, can this be changed? Is it too late? Well, with the preventative steps and being followed correctly, it's not too late. It's not too late. The good news is with preventative care, we can make a huge improvement to the line on the scale. Take a look. Let's take a look at the scale. Now on the red line that we have here, again, it's showing the full maximal capacity, functional maximal capacity at the age of 23. Then it drops, simply because we let nature run its course. But with preventative care, the green line represents the 75%, which extends all the way out to the age of 80, which is huge. That is so huge. All right, so now that we've had a chance to look at the scale and we realize that let nature take its course is not the way to go. Let's look at this question. Why should we not, or why not take the steps? Why not take the steps to make your preventative or to get full maximal capacity out of your mobility? Well, one answer you may be thinking is that this is the perfect thing to do when you're young. But what about those who have already experienced pain? What if I'm already past the age of 50? Is it too late to start? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We want to get you on track. We want to get you on track for a great life. So you can do it. The first thing you need to do is follow through the entire recommendation of the care that you were given. Sorry. The reason why I mentioned following this is because you've already lived a long life. And you have the mentality that you can only take care of your spine and joints if you are in pain. This means it's going to be a lot harder for you to go ahead and shake the simple fact that you need to follow through all the preventative steps and all the recommendations that are given to you to get your spine back in core. The only way you can change the scale is to follow through with all 3 phases of the recommended care. The only way. Let's take a look at these 3 phases. The first phase. Simple. Pain relief. Now this may be a reminder to some. But let's understand that everyone isn't always on the